The cafe was nearly empty when Isabella slid into the seat across from me, her leather tote bag making a loud thud as she placed it on the table. Her fingers, adorned with chunky gold rings, pushed a pile of papers toward me, the diamonds glinting under the harsh cafe lights. "It's all ironclad," she said, her lips painted a sharp crimson, but the smile she gave me didn't quite reach her eyes. "Dad updated his will a few weeks before he passed. Everything goes to me. My name is Ella Carter, and at 31, I was watching my younger sister try to wipe out our father's final wishes, using the same cold precision she had honed to manipulate our family for as long as I could remember." "Did you really think he'd leave everything to you?" Isabella continued, casually swirling the foam in her untouched cappuccino. Sweet, kind-hearted Ella, who spent her life volunteering for animal shelters instead of learning how to run the company. Really? I looked down at the will, my father's signature glaring back at me. After battling a heart attack last month, Gregory Carter had left behind a tech empire, Carter Innovations, worth billions, a legacy Isabella was now trying to claim as her own. "This isn't his signature," I said quietly, tracing the sharp angles of the scrawl that didn't match our father's meticulous penmanship. Isabella's smile faltered. "It's his. Ask anyone at the law firm. They all witnessed it." "You and your husband's firm?" I met her eyes without flinching. "The same firm that has been trying to take over Carter Innovations for years?" "Jared is a brilliant lawyer," she snapped, her composure slipping just a little. "And he knows what's best for the company. Unlike you, who probably donate all our profits to some cause." I thought about the last conversation I'd had with Dad just days before his sudden heart attack. He had been pale, his voice weak, but still sharp. "The vault in my office," he'd said, pressing a key into my hand. "There's something important in there. Wait until you need it. You'll know when." I hadn't opened it yet. Something told me to hold off, to let Isabella make her move first. Now, as she sat across from me, grinning over her apparent victory, I knew the time had come. "You want to hear something fascinating?" I said, sipping my chamomile tea. "Dad and I had a lot of talks while you were busy hosting galas and running your PR campaigns. Did you know he kept meticulous records of every board meeting? Every shady deal, every manipulation?" Isabella's face stiffened. "What are you talking about?" "Take the Blackwood deal, for example," I continued. "How you and Jared orchestrated the hostile buyout, stripped the company's assets, and then fired half the workforce. Dad knew about it all." "That's business," Isabella dismissed me with a wave of her hand, though I noticed a flicker of doubt in her eyes. "Sometimes sacrifices have to be made for success." "And what about the safety tests you covered up? The drug trial that showed dangerous side effects on patients? You ignored it just to push the product through FDA approval." Her face paled. "You're just making things up." I stood up, tossing my napkin onto the table. "Am I?" "Wait for the email, Isabella. Dad left me something too, but I'm guessing it's not what you expected." As I walked out of the cafe, my phone buzzed. A text from Dr. Amelia Hayes, our lead researcher at Carter Innovations. "The files are ready. Just give the go-ahead." I smiled, thinking of the vault in my father's office and the hidden truths it contained. Isabella had always underestimated me, seeing my kindness as a flaw, my morals as weakness. What she didn't realize was that Dad had taught me a different kind of business, one that put integrity before profit. The drive to our family estate felt longer than usual, each mile heavy with the weight of what I was about to confront. The mansion stood like a fortress, its sprawling estate filled with old money and older secrets. Margaret, our longtime housekeeper, greeted me at the door. Her eyes were red from crying. Dad's death had hit her hard, but she managed a warm smile. "Miss Isabella was here earlier," she said, helping me out of my coat. "She took some documents from your father's office." "I know," I replied softly, but she didn't find everything she was looking for. I made my way upstairs to Dad's study, my footsteps echoing on the marble floors. The room smelled of mahogany and leather-bound books. The vault was hidden behind a large painting, an original Picasso that Isabella had always insisted would look better in her chic downtown loft. The key fit perfectly, and the door clicked open. Inside, I found a stack of papers, a small flash drive, and a letter addressed to me in Dad's precise handwriting. "My dearest Ella," it began, "if you're reading this, then Isabella has made her move." "My dearest Ella," it began, "if you're reading this, Then Isabella has made her move. The letter revealed everything. Dad had spent the last 2 years documenting Isabella and Jared's manipulations, the fraudulent trials, the insider trading, the hostile takeovers. But most importantly, he'd set up safeguards to protect Carter Innovations from their grasp. I sat at Dad's desk, scanning through document after document. The flash drive held emails, transaction records, and meeting notes that painted a damning portrait of my sister's actions. Isabella hadn't just been ambitious, she had been reckless, endangering the company's future in pursuit of her own gain. My phone buzzed with an incoming call from Isabella. I let it go to voicemail, then focused on the last paragraph of Dad's letter. The real will is in the company vault, witnessed by the ethics committee. Isabella will try to use Jared's connections to suppress it, but she doesn't know about the failsafe. You remember the code, don't you? A smile tugged at the corner of my lips as I recalled the number sequence that had made me memorize when I was young. It had always seemed like a game back then. Now, I realized he had been preparing me for this moment. Dr. Hayes arrived an hour later, carrying her own set of files. "The board is ready," she said, setting her laptop on the desk. "They're waiting for your signal." I nodded, pulling up the prepared email. It contained just enough evidence to show Isabella the truth, without giving everything away. Not yet. "Send it," I told Amelia. In her penthouse, Isabella opened the email. I could almost picture the panic on her face as she scrolled through the attachments, the evidence of her shady dealings, the Blackwood deal, the trial cover-up, the offshore accounts. Her reply came fast. "You're bluffing. Those documents could easily be faked." I typed back one simple line, "Check the company vault. The code is your birth date. You know, the one you've been telling everyone is different for years." Isabella had lied about her age to maintain her image of youthful brilliance, but Dad had used her real birth date to set the vault code, something only the three of us knew. An hour later, my phone rang again. This time, it was Jared. "Whatever you think you're doing," he said, his lawyer's cool demeanor slipping, "it won't work. We have witnesses, signed contracts. You have perjury and fraud." I interrupted. "Dad knew exactly what you were planning. He documented everything, right down to your secret meetings with Blackwood's executives. How much did you pay them to sell out?" Silence echoed through the phone line. "Then, what do you want?" "A board meeting, tomorrow morning. Victoria needs to be there. And if we refuse?" I glanced at the stack of files on Dad's desk, years of evidence meticulously gathered during his final months while pretending to be the ailing patriarch. "Then these go to the SEC, the FDA, and every major news outlet in the country. You decide." After hanging up, I sank into Dad's leather chair, running my fingers along the worn armrests. He'd spent endless hours here, building Prescott Enterprises into something that mattered, developing life-saving technologies, not just chasing after money. "You've made him proud," Emily said from the doorway, bringing in a fresh cup of herbal tea. "He always said you had his heart and his resolve." I smiled, remembering how Victoria had mocked my sense of duty, my insistence on ethical practices. She had never understood that Dad was training me not to be a cutthroat CEO, but a leader who could defend the company's mission. The next morning arrived dreary and cold. I drove to Prescott Enterprises headquarters early, claiming Dad's usual parking spot, now rightfully mine, thanks to the real will. The lobby went quiet as I walked through, the employees exchanging curious, nervous glances. They had witnessed Victoria's power plays over the years, seen her rise to apparent victory. Now they were about to witness a very different kind of power. The boardroom was full when I entered, Victoria and her husband Daniel, seated like royalty at the far end. The other board members sat stiffly, their faces masks of neutral professionalism. They had all received select documents from Dad's files, just enough to understand what was on the line. "Well," Victoria sneered, her tone cold. "What is this area? Some last-ditch effort to dispute the will?" I took my seat at the head of the table, Dad's seat. "No, Victoria. This is about saving Prescott Enterprises from people who would tear it down for their own profit." The next 2 hours were a turning point. I presented the evidence methodically, watching Victoria's expression change with every new document displayed on the screen. The fabricated clinical trials, the hidden safety reports, the shell companies. But it was Dad's video message that truly unraveled her. His face filled the screen, gaunt but resolute, recorded just weeks before his passing. As the founder and CEO of Prescott Enterprises, I hereby issue this statement regarding the attempted hostile takeover of our company. Victoria's grip tightened on the table, her fingers turning white. Shut it off. No, I said softly. You need to hear this. We all do. The video continued, Dad's voice firm as he recounted every underhanded tactic, every betrayal, every unethical decision Victoria and Daniel had made. He named names, referenced documents, and provided dates, all of which I had securely stored in multiple locations. Additionally, Dad continued, I have amended my will to ensure Prescott Enterprises remains true to its founding values. My daughter, Aria, will assume control of the company, effective immediately upon my death. Daniel shot to his feet, his face a mask of outrage. This is absurd. We have a legally executed will. A forged will, Dr. Claire Roberts interrupted, sliding copies of a forensic analysis across the table. The signature was digitally altered. We have solid proof. The boardroom erupted into chaos. Several members frantically started texting their lawyers. Others sat frozen, stunned. Victoria glared at me, her flawless facade cracking. You planned this, she spat. You and Dad, scheming behind my back. No, Victoria. You planned this. Every shady deal, every betrayal, it was all you. Dad just made sure there would be consequences. The next hour passed in a blur of legal arguments and emergency votes. By noon, Victoria and Daniel had been removed from the board, pending a full investigation. The FBI was already combing through the evidence of corporate fraud. The FDA had been alerted to the falsified clinical trials. As security escorted them from the building, Victoria threw one last bitter look my way. You've destroyed everything, she hissed. Prescott Enterprises will never survive under your ethical management. I thought of all the lives they'd ruined, the employees from the Crossfield acquisition, the patients harmed by the rushed drug trials, the small firms they'd crushed to line their pockets. No, Victoria, I said quietly, I'm going to build something better, something Dad always wanted, an enterprise that makes a difference, not just a profit. The weeks that followed were hectic. We recalled unsafe drugs, launched new safety studies, and reached out to the companies Victoria had harmed. The stock took a hit at first, but as our commitment to doing right became clear, ethical investors began stepping forward. 6 months later, I sat in Dad's study, now mine, looking at the latest financial reports. Prescott Enterprises was thriving, our newly approved cancer drug showing promising results from ethically conducted trials. The Crossfield family's former employees had been rehired, helping strengthen our research division. Emily brought in my evening tea, setting it beside a framed photo of Dad in his prime. The community center has reached out again, she said, offering a smile. They want you to host their charity auction again. Last year's event raised more for the Children's Hospital than ever before. Tell them yes, I replied, thinking of how Victoria had always belittled Dad's community efforts. And let's match our donation this time, twice as much. That night, as I prepared to leave, I noticed a small package on my desk. Inside, I found a key and a note in Claire's handwriting. Found this while going through the old records. It opens your dad's personal safe deposit box at National Bank. Thought you should have it. Inside the box was a journal, filled with Dad's thoughts, hopes, and dreams for the company's future. On the final page, written just days before his passing, was a note. My dearest Aria, by now, you've taken the reins at Prescott Enterprises and witnessed firsthand the challenges that come with doing business ethically. It isn't always easy. Victoria never understood that money and making a difference don't have to be mutually exclusive. But you do. You're reading this journal because you've proven you have the strength to lead with both your mind and your heart. I'm so proud of you, my daughter. Take care of our legacy. Love, Dad. I closed the journal, feeling the weight of his words. Victoria had believed she would inherit everything in that forged will, never realizing that Dad's true legacy wasn't just in the company. Prescott Enterprises would thrive, not despite our ethical values, but because of them. And somewhere, I knew Dad was smiling, watching his true heir build the future he had always envisioned.